The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Woo! It's that time again, once again, as I like to do periodically. I like to have me a little grilling session from time to time of our favorite two pansies, that being Tebow, T-B-O-W, the bitch out west, Linky Boy, old Lincoln Riley, and his little man-crushing groupie, that being Colin Cowherd. That's right. As you know, it seems like every off-season, Colin Cowherd and old Linky Boy seem to continually make asinine comments that paint themselves in a corner, and this year, it's no different. Got to give them one thing. They're consistent. Yeah, consistent at being total jackasses and getting their skirt pulled down. Let's pull that skirt down. Let's talk about it. Well, here we go again. It's another episode of the Outlaw of College Football. And here they come once again right on in. It's the Outlaw Posse, now in effect. And credits for today's show go to Killer Breeze, a.k.a. George Contreras, for this epiphany. Now, also, we've had a new member. Well, not really a new member, but we have somebody that's rejoined the Outlaw Posse. He's bound up and he's re-saddled up. Welcome in Zach Hamner to the Outlaw Posse. He has his badge and he's now deputized. And if you want to get your badge and get deputized and get your Four Horsemen shout out as well as other perks, all you got to do is hit that join button next to the subscribe button. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. If you're on an Apple phone, you may have to go to your computer or laptop because it doesn't gel with YouTube memberships. Now, the Four Horsemen shout out. And the Four Horsemen today are as follows. Those helping me with this college football invasion today are Alice Stokes, Richard Burton, Rick Birdwell, and Shane Moore mounted up and saddled up, and they're ready to go. Also, if you want to holler at me off to the side, I'm on Twitter at OCF Productions. Now, get right to it. People have been begging me for another grilling session, so here it is. We're going to grill. We're going to grill some more. As my old buddy, like I said, Killer Breeze, put me on to this podcast today, the Oklahoma Breakdown with Eichard and Lehman. They had a Jeff Schwartz on from Oregon that basically stated something that I was already talking about in a previous podcast, that Oregon has basically owned USC in recruiting. Now, this ain't just a situation where Tebow's former team, Oklahoma, is passing him by. But he has a team within his conference that's about to be extinct in Oregon that's been dominating for quite some time. Now, Oregon wasn't invited the first go-around when they invited USC and UCLA. The Big Ten was not going to invite them at first because USC sort of made the comment that they had an Oregon problem and that by being in the Big Ten, it would give them maybe a certain little edge over Oregon and maybe right the ship for them in recruiting. But that's not going to be the case because the Oregon problem is still going to be a problem now because Oregon has that Big Ten badge too. So there's not going to be any unfair advantage for you once again, Linky Boy. And just like this guy pointed out in this podcast, you building your team on transfer portal. And some years the transfer portal is going to be thin, and lots of times those players that come from the transfer portal are in the transfer portal for a reason, and that is because their 4 and 5 stars that they were ranked coming out of high school was not accurate. They weren't good enough to start. So if you build your team on transfer portal, sooner or later, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to be hollowed out because the young talent that you do recruit is not going to get developed. They're not going to get the reps that they need because you bring in all these transfer portal crybabies. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get transfer portal players. There are a few nuggets and diamonds out there in the rough that actually work out. But there's a difference in getting 3 or 4 and going out and building your whole roster upon that. It's just asking for trouble. And USC people think I'm trolling when I'm saying that, but I'm telling y'all, seriously, that you're in for a big fall and a rude awakening once Caleb Williams graduates and all the players that he lured into the portal from Oklahoma are going to be gone. Then what's going to happen? Those recruiting classes that he's been putting out there, the barely making the top 15 type recruiting classes the past 2 seasons, and now this one is sliding away once this broadcast of the Outlaw of College Football to bring you a nice little nugget that I forgot to give you while I was doing the show. Old Jeff Schwartz of Oregon made a good point that the reason why that this transfer portal recruiting that Tebow is doing, and while eventually it's going to catch up to USC in the years to come, is because Oregon has been out recruiting them in the trenches where it really matters, and they're building 4- and 5-star athletes. Oregon, over the past couple of years, since 2022, Oregon has had 17 4- and 5-star defensive linemen and offensive linemen. 17 to USC's 5. Now, back to the show. And I want to reflect on some stuff they've been saying for the past 3 years. We've been hearing the whole mantra of you can't recruit to Oklahoma. And then Colin Cowherd, as he normally does, just like Tebow, he paints himself in the corner by saying, just here recently, about a month ago, that once Oklahoma gets in the SEC, they will no longer be able to compete in recruiting because getting players from Oklahoma just ain't enough. Well, see, he throws shit like that against the wall, hoping it sticks, because he's hoping that his little minions and people that follow his show out there won't fact check him, and they don't. I don't watch his show, so I don't have to fact check him. I just hear this crap from other people. And what he neglects to tell people is that Oklahoma's never really recruited the state of Oklahoma heavily anyway, because they know it's a smaller state. Oklahoma has invaded Texas quite a few times over the course of 100 years and got very, very good players, because honestly, Texas is like a middle-sized country. Now, I'm a curious George type, and I've done some investigating upon it, and the state of Texas is bigger than Germany. It's bigger than Spain. It's bigger than France. It's bigger than Great Britain. It's bigger than most European mid-sized countries. And they continue to get players from Texas. He's saying that they will not continue to be able to recruit at a high level once they get in the SEC. That sounds a little bit ass backwards and maybe a little straw grasping and wishful thinking by the hater that they call Colin Cowherd. Because Oklahoma, the past 3 years now, have been getting players from not just Texas, but Florida, Georgia, California, the state that you're in now, that you said you was going to wall off. Yeah, I'm going to keep talking about it. Hell, you can't even keep them out of your own city. You got the Oregon Ducks going down there, flocking down there, taking players away from you in your own city. Not just your state. I can understand if you couldn't wall off a big state like California, because this is as big as most countries. But you can't even keep them out of L.A., man. And it's all because Colin Cowherd hates Oklahoma and Southern football in general, because his teams have been emasculated for so damn long. And it's also probably because, he's a big Seattle Supersonics fan, or was, until Oklahoma took his shit. The state of Oklahoma took him away from him. And that city of summer jackass love up there, that's probably a northern version of San Francisco. It wouldn't surprise me they're up there shitting in the streets up there in Seattle. So, just let go of it, Colin. Let go of it, man. Just own it. Just be transparent, because people are not as easily fooled these days with the advent of social media, man. It's just like pulling back the curtain on Wizard of Oz. We all see you're just a little man behind a curtain that's been emasculated. Case in point, how I can prove that Colin Cowherd is just a straight blatant liar. It just makes up stuff, hoping that it will undermine whatever teams or whatever coaches that he has an agenda against. Check out Oklahoma's recruiting this past cycle. Taylor Tatum, running back, 4-star, Longview, Texas. Zion Kearney, wide receiver, 4-star, Missouri City, Texas. Jaden Hardy, safety, 4-star, from Louisville, Texas. Ivan Carrion, wide receiver, 4-star from Odessa, Texas. Then you have Zion Raggins, a wide receiver from Gray, Georgia. Wyatt Gilmore, edge rusher, 4-star from Rogers, Minnesota. And then you have Eugene Brooks, who was a 3-star, has been moved to 4 stars now. He's a linebacker from Chatsworth, California. Not one recruit is from the state of Oklahoma, Colin. So what's your excuse now? You think it's because when they go in the SEC that the SEC teams are going to suddenly start taking their players? Oklahoma's been getting these kind of players. Look, think about it. They've been getting these kind of players the whole time without the SEC label. Texas A&M, LSU, Arkansas, all bordering schools are close to Oklahoma, have been getting all these players. Some of these players they've gotten away from Oklahoma because they could play that SEC card. Well, now Oklahoma has the SEC card in their deck. So what do you think is going to happen now, Colin? You think that the fact that they're able to get plenty of 4-star, these ain't just 2 and 3-star players. They're able to get 4-star players from the state of Texas in huge amounts, as well as California, Georgia, and Florida, and Louisiana. What do you think is going to happen when they have that SEC card to play? Yeah, you're ass backwards, man. And you have always been ass backwards, and you're not legitimate, and you're a big-ass farce, just like that man crush of yours, old Tebow, the bitch out west, Lincoln Riley. And y'all gonna get your little skirt pulled down. It may not be this year, but once all them Oklahoma players that you lured in the transfer portal are gone, I think it's gonna start unraveling. And you'll have some kind of excuse and try to save face. But I'm not gonna let you, brother. I can promise you that. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as I said earlier, if you want to join the Outlaw Posse for $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week, get your badge, get deputized, get that periodic 4 Horsemen shout out, just hit that join button next to the subscribe button. Also, there's a little heart down here at the bottom of this video. It's got a little $sign in. If you want to make a one-time donation to the show, just hit that. Throw a few dollars in the coffers. And I'm out of here. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.